Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and in today's video we are doing an organization video marathon. So basically what I did was I took some of my most popular organization videos from last year and I put them all together for you to get motivated for the new year. I know for me, I have spent probably the last 2 or 3 weeks just mapping out what January, February, and March are gonna look like, and even April as we move into spring cleaning. I am desperate to do a lot of reorganization. Some purging is desperately needed in my home. So I figured I would share some motivation with you so that you could get excited for the new year as well, because come January, we've got some big projects coming up. So hopefully you are here for it. Please remember all of this content is from last year. Let's go ahead and get into organizing our house. Thanks for watching. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and I am so happy to have you joining me for today's video. I had to have like a little mental moment to get prepared for this video because today we're gonna be tackling my pantry. You guys, I did a video a year ago organizing the pantry and it was great, and we still use probably 75% of the organization I put in place to begin with. However, there are 7 of us that live in this house, 7 of us that use the pantry. It gets used all day long. Things kind of just get shoved in places and it definitely needs some help. Also at that time, we were purchasing a lot of new things, beds, furniture, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on the pantry. However, over the last 4 weeks or so, I have been collecting items to redo the pantry. And I also got a few things for Christmas. So I'm excited to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and a little more my style. So I am prepared for this to take the next 2 days. It is Saturday morning when I'm getting started. I've already warned my family that this is going to be a tornado zone and not to come in here. I watched several episodes of the home edit yesterday to get myself, you know, ready to go. I'm not looking to do like that. Like, I am not looking to rainbow organize anything. I think it's beautiful. It's just not really manageable for me and my stress level. However, I am looking to definitely edit the space, and that just means get rid of stuff I'm not using. Now that we've been in the house a year, I know what I actually use, what I don't use, what can go down to the basement, you know, for you know, use every now and again, like my crock pots and servingware, that kind of thing. And then stuff that can, really, I can just donate. That is my plan. We're also planning for a neighborhood garage sale in the spring. So I am starting to collect items for that. So I just want to really only have items in there that we use to make room for the large amount of food that has to be in there for all of our families. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you what I bought and what I have to use for our organization today. Okay, so I'm gonna start on this side of the table. I'm gonna try to keep my camera turned so that you can see without the light behind. But I picked up these 2 larger baskets here from Target. These are from Bright Room. They're really big. And when you look at them side by side to this basket I got at Walmart, you might be thinking, wow, those look like the same, but they're not. These are slightly bigger, they're longer, and my plan is to use those for larger items. I also did pick up this, what do you call this? A spice rack from Walmart. I want to say it was somewhere in the $5 range, and my plan is to use this for things smaller in the pantry that just need some height. Those 2 baskets there were $22 each, and then this basket here is also from Bright Room, and this one was $18. I liked how small this was. This is great for snacks and things like that, and it will be able to be spread out, you know, and easy to get to for the kiddos. Now these baskets here are actually from Walmart. As I mentioned, they're from the Better Homes and Gardens line. They come in 4, and they were $39 for the 4, so that's less than $10 a bin, which I think is excellent. They come folded up, so they do fold, and they're cube size. So if you have one of those cube organizers, these will fit in there. So I have always been anti-cube organizer since, you know, I don't like that look, but now that I know that they have things like this, that's really nice. Like, those are really pretty and they look nice. It definitely elevates the look. I definitely think that these are such a great value for the price. So, and they're really good quality. So like I said, 4 of those come in a pack for $40. Definitely worth it. I have already shown these in my video for what I got for Christmas, but these are beautiful glass containers. They come from Amazon, and I have 4 of these that are a little bit smaller, and then I have 3 of these that are a little bit bigger. So that is what I'm going to be using in the pantry as well. There's the other 2 of those 4. And then I did pick up these stackable bins from Target as well. These are also from Bright Room, and I liked the size and the fact that they had this easy like get into. You know, these are great for snacks and bags of chips and things like that. And then last minute I did grab another turntable from TJ Maxx, $7.99. I like using these. I have one already in the pantry, and I also have one in my refrigerator, and I just think that they're really great for saving space. So that is what I have to use for this pantry update. I'm excited about these items, plus all of the items that I already have in the pantry, and let me show you what it currently looks like. All right, my friends, it is time to take a look inside this horrific pantry. Oh my goodness. As you can see, I definitely had a system started before, but it had gone by the wayside and it was overflowing, and it was time to get it organized. This is also where I keep my calendars. Originally, when I filmed this part, I was talking through it, but I just feel like I've done enough talking and decided to kind of cut that back and do the voiceover. So now it was time to do the part I was dreading the most, and that was pulling everything out of the pantry. This is a very deceitful pantry. It looks tiny when you stand right here, but it's actually really big, and the shelves are all incredibly deep. So there was a ton of stuff. I got started by doing it myself. I did the first 2 shelves, I believe, the floor, and then maybe the first 1 or 2 shelves. And then I ended up going in and grabbing Danny to help me take everything else off, which I didn't film because I hadn't pre-warned him. So he was kind of in his chore clothes. So he came out and helped me get the rest of it. But it's amazing how much stuff can pile up in a space like this. It's basically like a closet, you know. It was so much stuff, and it wasn't that, you know, it wasn't things that we could use. There were definitely some expired items that needed to be worked through and gotten rid of, but really it was just boxes and just need better organization. So I'm taking everything out, and then we're going to go through it. We'll keep some things. We'll put some things down in the basement. We'll get rid of some things. We'll get rid of a lot of bulk things, and definitely get rid of anything that's expired, and we'll get it better organized. I also wanted to lighten everything up a little bit in here. Majority of the items that I had for organization in here before are black, which is what I had found at the Dollar Tree after Christmas last year. They were all 50% off, so they were 50 cents. I'm not getting rid of them. I'm definitely going to use them. However, I'm looking forward to having some lighter colors here in the pantry to lighten it up a little bit. I also want to mention, I think this will get brought up, I do have an automatic light in my pantry, so every time I walk in there, the light turns on by itself and then turns off. So you'll see it pop on and off repeatedly, and you're not going crazy. That is simply my light in there that is automatic. I love that automatic light. It took forever, but everything for the most part is finally out of the pantry. I did leave my stand mixer because it's heavy and that's where I plan to keep it. I also left majority of the alcohol on the top because we're going to get that organized. But here is a look at all of the items from my pantry just spread out around my kitchen. I even had some over here on my sofa table and all over the floor. So tons and tons of stuff coming out of the pantry. It was everywhere and slightly overwhelming, but there was no turning back now. So I'm just going to take a second here to wipe down the countertops. The shelves. I'm using a damp microfiber cloth to get them nice and clean. And then we will go ahead and start organizing. So one of the things I wanted to do first was get an idea of where I wanted the baskets to go and the clear containers. I had a rough idea in my head of where things were going to go, and it didn't turn out anything like that. I ended up moving things around a ton. I ended up having more containers than I thought I did. I'd found a bunch that I had previously purchased that were at the bottom of the pantry, just waiting to be used. So I was really thrilled because I had a lot of stuff I needed to put away. But that did allow me to kind of be a little bit more open to where things were going to go. I wanted these water hyacinth baskets so that way I could put things in them that I didn't necessarily need to see. And then I also had the home edit boxes, which would allow me to see what's inside. I really like them. I think they look really clean. And already this space is just feeling bigger and more open. Having those big bins at the top and lighter colors just feels a whole lot better. So I'm just going to take the rest of them and sort them out and get a rough idea of where things are going to go, and then we'll start filling them in. So the first space I decided to work on was the very top up here. So we have a pretty good bar selection. However, I don't have an actual bar. So all of these items stay here in our pantry. I keep them up high, obviously. But I did want them to be kind of put away because it can look really messy and it's a lot of color. And I don't know, it just looks very kind of messy up here. So I'm using those two large water hyacinth baskets that I picked up from the Bright Room line at Target, and these were perfect. I was able to fit all of my items in these two baskets. Now they are full, so definitely can't put anything else in there, but I did get rid of half open bottles of wine, anything that was expired. I had a ginger beer that was expired, and so that really freed up some space as well. And I got rid of any bottles that had, just a tiny little amount in them. I either poured them in other bottles or just got rid of them. So that definitely freed up a lot of space and made it look a heck of a lot nicer up here and a little bit more organized. You'll also see behind those two bins, I have the large spatulas that go with my grill. We keep those up there. We obviously don't need them right now in the winter, so they're just kind of hidden in the back there. I did also pull down my two cookie jars there. I haven't used them in a while, and I was
contemplating whether or not to get rid of them. However, the bee one I love. That's from my sweet friend Anne. It was a gift before I left Las Vegas. And the other one, I just wasn't sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm probably going to give that one away. I also took down those plastic trays. I'm going to put those with our camping gear. In this black bin here are all of my cake decorating items. And then I also brought in my Instant Pot. This is the only other item that I really use a lot. I did end up moving those two large bins. The green one there in the back has all of the Blackstone items. And then I've got some other plastic utensils to put here. And then moving on to the other side into these smaller water hyacinth bins from Walmart, I'm just adding in some other items. So in this one here, I'm putting styrofoam coffee cups that we use when we have people over, some popcorn bins, as well as our little snack bins we use during breaks and on summer, and some other paper plates and paper towels or paper napkins that I had left over from Halloween and Christmas. Just some items that, we don't use regularly, but we need when we're hosting. So just sticking those items here. I didn't need to see them, but I wanted to keep them. So this was a perfect place to put them up high where I don't need them regularly, but they were at least stored away. Now we're going to kind of go in a random array. I just kind of started on one end of my island and worked my way down. So the first thing I'm grabbing here are our cereal containers. I had some that were half eaten. I had ones that I had purchased before that the kids weren't eating. So I got rid of those and I'm filling in the others. They're not all the way full, but that's okay. This one does end up getting all the way full. But on this day, I am just sorting what I already had. And then day 2, which you're going to see towards the end, is when my grocery order came in and I'm just restocking all of the goods. So I am just getting the cereal organized here. These cereal containers are from Walmart and I love them. They're a really great size and they're easy to hold and easy to pour for my kiddos. I do keep them down here on this lower shelf so that my kids can easily access them. And now we're going to work on some other items here. So I did move those clear bins and I put the cheese crackers there as well as the granola bars and the oatmeal. I felt like this was a good section to have those items so that way the kids could grab them. These are kid foods that they get all the time. My kiddos make their own oatmeal and all that stuff. So having it readily available down here was perfect. And I did end up putting 2 of those Dollar Tree bins into that larger basket there, and it worked perfectly to keep them organized and they just looked a little bit nicer. Moving up a shelf, we're going to add in our chips. Now I am putting these in a little bit nicer so that way they look nice. Before I just kind of toss them into a basket on the floor, but I do prefer this and it does make it easier for the kids to see what's in there so they're not searching through it. And then the bin right next to it is where I'm going to house the larger bags of snacks like the popcorn. And then in this bin, we're going to do our graham crackers. We have a lot of graham crackers right now because I purchased a bunch for us to do graham cracker houses during Christmas, and we didn't end up using as many, but that's okay. These are great little snacks. My kids love them with a little bit of peanut butter and banana on top. And then I'm also going to add in some goldfish crackers as well. This bin above is where I'm going to keep all of my keto items. So I'm adding in chia seeds, and then I'm using the other glass container for my sugar-free baking chocolate chips. I had several bags that were already opened, so I'm just putting them all into this glass container, and then I did have 2 other bags that are unopened. I don't know how I got all of these bags, but that's okay. They'll get used. The sugar-free chocolate chips are not cheap, so I'm definitely not going to get rid of those, but keeping them in this separate section will delineate them from the normal chocolate chips. And then I'm also adding in some of my other keto snacks, and this will just be my little bin for my keto items. Moving up a shelf, I added my flour and my sugar here. These I do use all of the time, so I wanted them to be easy to grab. And then I'm adding in some of the other items to these glass bins that I got, glass containers from Amazon. So first things first, I'm adding in regular chocolate chips, and then we're also going to add in white chocolate chips that I had just in a regular Ziploc. This smaller little container here, I think it's actually from Amazon as well. That one's different. I had that one already. In this container, we're going to go ahead and add our pasta. I actually am going to put pasta in the 3 large ones, and I'll just replenish those as they go. This is strictly aesthetic. This is not because I needed to. They were perfectly fine in their boxes, but I definitely think these look nicer and they take up a little less space than the boxes. So that's why they're going in there, but that is totally unnecessary. In this little container, I'm going to put this open bag of walnuts. I love walnuts on yogurt. Tastes so very good. Nice little crunch. And then in this last one here, I'm going to put my open container of oatmeal. And I think that is going to round out the glass containers. Next up, we're going to work on this little plastic riser that I picked up at Walmart. I decided to put my cooking items here on the riser instead of in a Lazy Susan because I just feel like I can see things a little bit easier, and I just wanted something a little bit different. I wanted to change, and I could put more things on this riser than I could in the Lazy Susan. So I am happy about this riser. Like I said, I did pick it up at Walmart. It was incredibly affordable. And then moving on to the space next to it, I'm putting this bin full of kind of overflow food. It's got some cooking oil, some boxes of pasta, some ramen noodles, that kind of thing. And then I also have some other vegetable oil there. And I'm putting my toaster back now. So my toaster and my microwave live here in the pantry. This is where we use the toaster as well. We've got a plug back there and it works out really, really well. And then we're also putting the bread, which that container was also from the Dollar Tree. Next up, I'm also adding in some overflow bins that there has several boxes of granola bars. I'm putting in a large thing of flour. And then in this little plastic container here, I'm putting popcorn. This is actually a container that got ruined in the dishwasher. So the lid doesn't fit. So it actually worked out perfectly to hold the popcorn. And again, I'm just putting it down here where the kids can easily grab it. And then we're going to kind of rearrange a little bit. This happened, several times when I was working here in the pantry, just moving things around so that I could easily get to things. But that basket there has almond flour, coconut flour, more keto items. And then in this clear bin here, we're going to go ahead and add our ramen. My kiddos love to have ramen, especially if they're hungry, but they're just looking for something light. Ramen is a great tool. We usually use half of the packet though, so that way it keeps the sodium down. They're really delicious and easy to doctor up. In this other bin here, I'm just going to put some dry goods like tortillas, some rice, some extra olive oil. That's the one that I've already got open, as well as Spam. We love Spam. Spam is so good in musubi. If If you've ever had musubi, let me know down below. It's a delicious Hawaiian treat that we learned how to make when we lived in Las Vegas, and it is so addicting. It's Spam with rice, and you wrap it in seaweed with delicious seasoning. It is so good. Now I'm just going to kind of play with where things are located. I wasn't sure exactly where things were going to go at this point and what I was going to be using, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough space for everything. So I'm just kind of moving stuff around. It's easier to do this before you fill them up. And then if you know where you're putting them, then you have an idea of what you're going to put inside. But it was getting a little bit tricky here towards the end. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough room for pretty much just food in the pantry. Here I'm going to be adding in the rest of my baking items: brown sugar, baking soda, powdered sugar, my sushi rice. And then here in these two bins, I'm going to put some other sweets. So I've got powdered sugar, a bag full of candy left over from our gingerbread houses, and some marshmallow fluff. Danny loves a good fluff and peanut butter sandwich. And then I've also got marshmallows. We always have a ton of marshmallows for hot chocolate. And then I thought I was going to put my blender here, but I actually decided that I didn't like it here. I felt like it was kind of taking up too much space. So I moved the little tin there with all of those utensils down to that shelf, and I put the blender up here on top. That is from the Beautiful line at Walmart. It's a nice little blender. It's, you know, not the fanciest for sure, but it was really affordable and it's nice. And then I'm just adding in a few more napkins into the utensil holder, and then we're going to add in some more items. So in the back here, I'm adding in our pancake mix and syrup and our large soy sauce. And then I'm also adding in our vegetables. That does end up changing it a little bit. And then in that other black container, I had some water mixes. And then in this large container, I'm going to be putting some other utility items. So some overflow of Ziploc bags, our large gallon size Ziploc bags that don't fit in the drawer, as well as the extra napkins. And I did end up putting paper plates in there as well, the ones that we use on a regular basis. I just didn't do it on camera because I hadn't been able to find them. Next up, I'm going to add some other items into these bins up top. So I've got some cake stands, a small tiered tray. There's me trying to keep the light on. In this last bin, I'm going to add in our rice cooker that I don't really use very often, but I had the space for it, so I decided to keep it up here. And I'm also putting our large waffle maker. And I thought I was going to put our two little waffle makers. I didn't have enough room. They kind of stuck out and they're really bright in color. So I only put one in. The other one I put down in the baking drawer. Because the shelves are so deep, I did have some space behind things, so I'm adding in my pitchers, and then I'm adding in another Lazy Susan to put some miscellaneous items that I had left over. I did decide to change things up a little bit and use this wooden bowl from Hobby Lobby to hold my vegetables. And now it was time to kind of clean things up. So this is still Saturday night. I'd been doing this now for lots and lots of hours. One thing I didn't film was me breaking down all of the cardboard boxes that weren't in the pantry anymore and taking down, all of the items to the basement, getting things out to the trash. Honestly, I'm not sure why I didn't film all of those things. I think I was worried the video was going to be too long, but it was a lot of cleanup in the kitchen. I was happy to get it done. So I'm just going to give the pantry a quick little vacuum, and then we're going to give it a little mop since it's nice and clean. And then we're going to get the pantry restocked. I did decide to use these 2 stackable bins from the Target dollar spot for drinks to put down at the bottom. So I'm just giving them a really good wipe down, and then we'll bring them into the pantry and get them filled up. And now it's Sunday. I've had my groceries delivered and it's time to put them away. I'm starting by adding in the rest of my vegetables into my bowl here. I did end up putting those potatoes in the same space. And now we're going to restock a lot of things and get them put away in the pantry. The last thing we're going to work on today is labeling some items in the pantry. I picked up these beautiful white handwritten labels from Amazon. I'll have them linked for you down below. And I'm just going to go through and add some labels. I never thought that I would be a label person, but I actually really love them. And I think it makes it easy when I go to put things away. So absolutely love these. They were super easy. They were already stickers, already made. I didn't have to cut anything with my silhouette or anything, which I really appreciated because vinyl can be tricky. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I do really love how this turned out. And that brings us to the end of this pantry makeover. This was so overdue, you guys. It desperately needed to be organized and decluttered. It was full of so much stuff, just a year's worth of, backlog, things just kind of getting thrown in here. And this just feels like a breath of fresh air. It's organized, it's clean, it's easy to find things. It's easy for my kids to know where to put things away and for them to grab what they're looking for. And for as much as I spend time in my kitchen, which I really do, I am always in there cooking something. This just makes it so much easier to find everything. So I am so very thankful that I got this project done, even though it took so very long. Hopefully this video gives you the motivation you need to tackle your space, and I will have all of the items that I can link down below for you in the description box. As usual, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And please remember to give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd love to have you subscribe and come back for more. We've got a lot of organizing to do as we tackle room by room in my house, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day, my friends. See you soon. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and I'm so happy to have you joining me today. In today's video, we are going to be tackling my spice cabinet. We're going to get it organized and more aesthetically pleasing. Let's go ahead and get started. One of the things we're going to be using today to help us organize the spice cabinet are these beautiful glass spice containers that I got for Christmas. They are from Amazon. I'll have them linked for you down below. I just think that they're really beautiful, and I think it's going to create a really uniformed look in the spice cabinet. I also picked up that riser. We're going to be using some more of these labels. We also have these labels for on the actual containers. And we're going to get started. I am just going to take all of these out of the box. They were in some really nice styrofoam that was keeping them protected. So I'm taking them all out, and we're going to go spice by spice. So just going to use the little funnel that it comes with to help us get the spice into the container. Now this is completely unnecessary. This is purely aesthetic. This is not something that you have to do to have an organized spice cabinet. It isn't something, that if you don't do it, your spice cabinet doesn't look nice. This is just completely aesthetic. I never thought that I would do this. And then I decided that I really liked the way it looked. My cousin Susan has hers done, and she keeps hers in her drawer, and they just look really beautiful. So I am taking all of the lids off to keep things a little bit easier, and I'm just going to take about a couple of minutes here to wash all of these bottles. Now this did take a while, I'm not going to lie, just to wash them all and then to let them dry. But this is important because you want to make sure that they're clean before you put your spices in, since you're going to be cooking with them and ingesting them. You want to make sure that they are clean. You're not sure how many hands touched them or what kind of chemicals were on them when they were being created. So just give them a good wash. I'm just using hot water and a little bit of dish soap, and we're going to let those air dry. You want to make sure that they're all the way dry because you don't want your spices to get stuck inside of a wet spice container. And then we're going to get started with putting the spices inside. Once the containers were dry, I just took the stickers out and put those off to the side. so that they were ready to go. There is a white label for the outside of the bottles, and then there is a little black sticker for the lid. I decided not to use the black sticker. I liked the way it looked without it, and the way that I have them in my cabinet, you can't really see the top of it anyway. It did also come with the plastic lids and a little funnel, and we are all set up. We've got our little station going. We're ready to start moving the spices over. So like I mentioned, the kit does come with a nice little rubber funnel. I'm starting with garlic, and if you notice, there's multiple different garlics, so make sure you're paying attention when you're selecting the one that works for you. So I'm selecting just regular, I think garlic powder. I can't remember if it's garlic powder or garlic. And I think it says garlic powder. And I'm just eyeballing this. I'm sure there's a more scientific way to get them less wonky. Mine are definitely not straight, but whatever, it's fine. And then you just plop your little funnel in, take off the lid of your seasoning and pour it right in. Super easy peasy. And then you pop on the little plastic top, and then you just put on your lid. So be careful that you don't overfill it. That was easy to do. I almost overfilled several of mine. I'm just pounding it out there to get any of the rest of the spice out, popping on the little lid, and then putting on the top to the container. And it was super easy, and I just think that they look so chic, and I love them. So really glad that I did this. Like I said, I went back and forth on whether or not I was ever going to do this, but I'm really glad that I did because I think they look really, really nice. I did have a little bit of extra from a few of my bottles, and I'm going to show you at the end what I end up doing with that. Don't get rid of it. That's perfectly good spice, so I'll definitely keep that and use it later, but I'll show you what I do with that later. So now we're just going to plow through and do as many of my spices as I can. At the beginning, my spices were very similar in taste, and so I really didn't need to clean out the funnel very often. I just was able to kind of pound out whatever was left inside on the side of my sink, and it was good. However, as I started to get a little bit more flavorful in my spices, it was time to start cleaning the inside of the funnel. So pay attention to that, especially when you get to things like cumin or ginger or adobo seasoning, that kind of stuff. Anything that's like really fragrant, you'll want to make sure that you're cleaning the inside of your funnel because you don't want your spices to mix and to mess with each other. So keep that in mind. I'm not really washing them as of right now, but I do end up having to wash out the funnel in between a lot of them just so that I wasn't mixing up the flavor. This was a little bit of a lengthy process, so I'm going to speed this up quite a bit. It did take me a little while, but like I said, I feel like it was worth it in the end. I love how it ended up looking. It turned out really beautiful, but give yourself a good amount of time to complete this job because you have to look for your sticker. You have to put the sticker on, like it's a whole process. I will say the stickers are in alphabetical order, so that definitely made things a heck of a lot easier. However, it still takes a little while to find it and to do all of this. And then when I started cleaning the funnel in between, just give yourself a good amount of time if you're going to tackle this job. Although this project did take a while, I will say that it's probably one of the most satisfying projects I've ever done. It was so nice to just see everything coming together. The bottles were beautiful. Once they're in the cabinet, it looks really, really beautiful. I do end up putting them in alphabetical order, which has been so nice when I'm cooking. I cook a lot and I like to be adventurous in the kitchen. I like to try a lot of new recipes and new flavors. So having easy access to my spices makes things really, really easy when I'm whipping up a meal for my gigantic family. If you've noticed, to the right of my sink there, I have been keeping track of certain bottles. Those are all of the spice bottles that are empty. I put those to the side so that we can recycle those when we are done. However, any of the bottles that still had some seasoning left in them, I put to the other side on the left. So that way I remembered to keep a hold of those because I could use them to refill my cabinet. This Creole seasoning is one I've been using a ton on shrimp. I love it. It's absolutely delicious. Now that we're done, I'm just going to grab my little recycling bag and I'm putting all of these empty jars and bottles into the bag, and it's amazing to think about how much space a lot of those took up. Some of them were really, really big, and it was definitely a space saver to have them in these thinner, more aesthetically pleasing bottles. I'm just going to take a second now to put them in alphabetical order, and then we're going to start working on the actual cabinet. Before we can start putting things back in, I'm just going to take a minute here to take everything out. As you can see, like I said, we've got a ton of seasonings. I definitely have a large hot sauce collection. And I also have an entire bin of baking items. That's what's there in the black container. So I just wanted to get everything out of the cabinet first so that I could move some of these shelves around and get a more functional system in here. I did decide to enlist my husband for this job. I asked if he could move the middle shelf up just a little bit so I could put some taller items on that second shelf. So he's moving all of my salt and pepper shakers up to the top shelf, which is where I thought they were going to live. However, we do make a little bit of a shift. I love that my husband is so willing to help me with these projects. That's Danny. He's a great guy. He's so great about, helping me with any project I ask him to. So we're just moving, like I said, that middle shelf up a little bit. I think we went up 2 notches so that I could put some taller bottles in. And then he had a really good point. Why didn't we just move the salt and pepper shakers back down to that little shelf since I wanted to move the top shelf up a little bit? He said, leave it small and just move the salt and pepper shaker down, which made perfect sense. So he's moving them down for me, and I feel like this gives me a lot more space to work inside the cabinet. So I'm going to start by putting this little riser that I picked up at Walmart here on the second shelf. And this is where I'm going to put things that I use, but I don't use every day. Well, that's not true. I'm going to put the things that I don't use every day towards the back, like my large cinnamon and oregano and my extra adobo seasoning. And then I'm going to put things that I pull every single day, like my Lowry's or ranch, down on the bottom. I'm also adding in my Worcestershire sauce, my everything but the bagel seasoning, things that I use regularly but not every day. I'm putting them there on the second little riser. But like I said, the things on the first riser are things we pull for almost every single day. Moving down to the bottom shelf, I'm adding in this wooden riser here that I picked up at on Amazon. and I love that it's adjustable. So I wasn't sure exactly how these were going to fit and how I was going to put them on. So I decided to start in the back and put the A's in the back and then just kind of eyeball what we were going to need. And this ended up working really great. Like I said, everything is in alphabetical order, which has made it really easy for me to know where everything is. All right, next up we're going to work on toppings and spices and sauces. So I have this little clear bin here that I am adding in some hot sauces as well as our hoagie seasoning, our fish sauce, my balsamic glaze, and I'm just trying to make everything fit. This is a lot sturdier, so I liked using this better. I also have my little wasabi tube right there. It's wasabi paste, which is absolutely delicious. And again, just trying to make it all work. I did have some leftover chili sauces from Panda Express as well that I added in there. I'm also going to add our packets of seasoning. This was already in this container from the first time that I organized this cabinet, and I am adding on another sticker. That one says seasoning. And then in this middle section here, I'm also going to put some sauces that we reach for almost every day. So my avocado oil, that type of thing. And then I did decide that I wanted to add in my bouillon base here into this container. And I also had some Korean chili paste that I wanted to figure out where I was going to fit that. So just kind of reorganizing to make everything fit and keep it nice and contained within the cabinet. Another bin that was kind of a hot mess that I wanted to work on is this one here that I keep all my baking items in. So again, I'm just labeling this clear container and I'm moving some items over here. So my, baking powder, my gelatin, the vanilla, that kind of thing, as well as my meringue powder for cookies, some other seasonings, food coloring, and candles for when we have birthdays. And now it was just about playing a little bit of Tetris. So I had this large jar of cornstarch that I wanted to put up here. I like to keep it here for when I'm cooking. So I wanted to just kind of move things around until I figured out how everything fit. I did get it all to fit, and I have had it like this now for about 2 weeks, and I am loving it. It is so easy to find everything. Everything feels contained and in order, and I really, really appreciate that. In this black bin here from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to hold on to the rest of those spices that weren't emptied, as well as my leftover cinnamon sticks from Christmas. And I'm going to put it here at the top because this requires a step stool and I don't often pull for these items. I also have a marinating dish up there, that rubber marinating dish, And I also have a cookie container there. And then I'm also adding in these paper lunch bags that we really don't pull for. And that brings us to the end of another organizing video. I hope that you guys are enjoying these videos and finding the motivation to tackle spaces in your home that have either gotten overrun or overwhelming. That's what my plan, one room, one cabinet, one drawer at a time. We're just trying to reorganize the house for the new year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic week. Make sure to subscribe and come back for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, my friends. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video we are going to be tackling this closet right outside of my kitchen. This is a bonus closet. We use it for pretty much everything. It houses our printer, it houses all of our cleaning supplies, as well as all of our medicine and everything. So lots and lots of very important things in this closet. And as you can see, once upon a time it was organized and it's just kind of gotten away from us. So we're going to put it back together today, get a good system going again, and get it all functioning, because this has turned into quite the Monica closet. Let's get started. So as I mentioned, I did once upon a time have this closet organized, and I'll try to find that video to link for you. It was back in a Sunday reset a long time ago, kind of when we first moved in. And I use this closet all the time. It is just a great place to keep extra items. This is on top of the stairs to our basement. If you look to the right there, our basement door was cracked open. Our kitty cats like to go down there. So I did have the door cracked open. There's one of our kitty cats now. That's Luna. She likes to hang out with me in a lot of my videos. But this little closet is just a bonus closet that our builder added for us to go, fill in this space on top of the stairs, and it's just perfect. It's a great spot for extra items. Originally, we thought we were going to hang our Dyson or cordless vacuum in here, and then they put in shelves, so that kind of went away. But you know what? It actually works out perfectly fine, and I'm actually really happy with this, because instead we used that plug for our printer, and we keep our printer in here. It is a Wi-Fi printer, and so all of our printers or all of our computers can print to it, and it's just put away, and I don't have to have it in the guest room. So it actually works out perfectly. And we ended up hanging up our cordless vacuum in our guest room. So this worked out, and we're really happy with it. It does have quite a slant on the bottom because of the stairs, but we make it work. So here's a look at all of the items that I've pulled out of the one medicine shelf. There's a lot of items here, but we are a big family. There are 7 of us, and I have purchased a lot of stuff along the way. Here's a look at the items I've picked up for us to organize with today. There are a couple in here that we don't end up using, but for the most part, we're going to use all of this, and I'll tell you where everything is from as we go. I'm starting off here with our nebulizer. If you're not familiar with nebulizer, this is a breathing treatment machine. It's something you use if you have asthma or if you get really sick and you need to have albuterol treatments. It's the same, that you would get in the hospital or at a doctor's office. And my son Griffin and I both have pretty severe asthma. And that, fun fact, that nebulizer is as old as my oldest child. So it's 16 years old. I got it when my daughter was 3 weeks old. She had really terrible RSV and was hospitalized for a week and a half. And that nebulizer is the one that we got when we went home from the hospital. So it's been with us forever. We use it all the time. And that gray basket that I was using was from the Dollar Tree. This white basket here is from Walmart. And this has other medicine in it. It has the ampules for our nebulizer, as well as Griffin's inhaler. So I decided just to kind of put all of those things together in that basket where the nebulizer is, just to keep track of everything. So I'm pulling that out and putting all of the items that have to do with breathing back in this basket. That way it's just easy to grab this, take it out, use a nebulizer, put it back. Next up, I'm going to tackle this plastic drawer system that I have here. This is so old, you guys. I think that when I was in high school, I used to keep like crafting supplies in this, and then it just turned into, you know, this medicine holder, and we've always had it in the closet, and it's not really functional anymore. It's just, it's too small for what we have, and it's a little bit awkward and clunky in this closet. So I did decide to take everything out. I was considering whether or not I was going to use it, but I did take everything out, and I did end up giving it to Danny. He's now using it for nuts and bolts and such in the garage. It's still a nice little organizer. It just wasn't really working for what I needed it to do anymore. So we're going to do some better organization. I've also got like our dog's toothbrush in here, and nail clippers, and, you know, Neosporin and eczema cream, like you name it. We've got so much stuff. So I have these clear acrylic drawers that I picked up on Amazon. I actually use these in the pantry where I keep like all of my scented waxes and such. So I used one to put all of our Band-Aids in, and the other one I'm going to use for ointments and such. So I've got some bandage items there, gauze. I've got all of like the Neosporin, and all of the ointments that we use go in that bottom drawer there. That seemed like it was perfect to have those close together. Next up, we're going to work on this other large plastic bin that I have. I think I picked this one up at Home Goods a long time ago, but I see them there all the time. They have really great prices on this stuff. And in here is just like a bunch of extra kind of medicines, ointments, off spray, that kind of stuff. I've got some poison ivy cream in here, burn relief cream, menstrual relief, Imodium, you name it. It's all in here. And again, you know, when you're a family of 7, like, you just kind of accumulate these things and watch your expiration dates. Luckily, I had already checked all of this stuff, so nothing was expired yet. If you do run across expired medication, Google how to dispose of that. You don't want to just toss it. You might have to do something special with it. So check that out. But I also have like our Vicks Vapor Rub and all of that good stuff in here. So I'm putting a lot of it back in. I'm just trying to organize it a little bit better. And anything that was expired that we didn't need anymore, or that was mostly gone, I did end up getting rid of. But this is a nice little container just to kind of put away. And then in this other container here, I did decide to put like the kid medicine, as well as some easy to reach items like fever reducers and those types of things, along with the thermometer. And I also added some cough drops and some cough suppressant like Dayquil pills and liquid. That's kind of like the cold box. But I do end up moving things around a little bit once I get inside. So I'm starting off with this water hyacinth basket I picked up at Target. I love it. It's nice and short so you can see what's inside. And I'm just going to use it like I did in my pantry to house these other 2 bins. Just kind of keep everything combined. It's just easier this way than having everything kind of alone in there where it can just kind of fall over. And then in this larger Bright Room box here, this is again from Target, it's $12. I love these boxes. They're excellent quality. And I'm just putting in here our rubbing alcohol and peroxide, as well as all of our home tests there. We got all of those from school, so we just kind of keep those in there for as needed. And then I've also got all of these braces, ace bandages, that kind of thing for when people hurt their hands or, sprain their ankle or something like that. We've got a ton of these. So just having these in here and kind of put to the back for future use. And then I'm going to use that other basket from the Dollar Tree. This I'm going to put all of our animal products in. So treats, brushes, medicine, that kind of thing all go in here. We're going to stick that in the back. Just easy containers for us to grab. And then I also am going to add in that Lazy Susan and our drawers. So now we're going to work on the Lazy Susan. This one's really cool. It's actually from Amazon, and these triangles you can pull out individually. So my goal was to kind of create little sections. So there's one for fevers and pain, one for tummy issues. This one here is again for pain. It's got migraine medicine and Motrin. And then in this next section here, I've got the Dayquil. So if you've got a little cold or cough. And then I'm also going to add in the sore throat spray, as well as some easy to grab cough drops if you need them. And this is going to be really great for just grabbing a triangle if you need it, pulling it out, and keeping things that we use the most easily accessible. Now we're going to move up a shelf to where I keep all of my cleaning supplies. And this section really was not too bad. I just wanted to clean it up and organize it a little bit better. And I also wanted to wipe down the shelf. So I had gotten some cleaning product on the shelf that had spilled, so I wanted to wipe that down. So I'm just taking everything out, moving it onto the island so I can go through it again. These shelves are super deep, so you can really fit a lot of stuff in here, which also means things can get lost in here. So I'm just making sure that I'm grabbing every little thing, and then I'm gonna just spray some multi-purpose spray here from Mrs. Meyer's. Give this a really good wipe. I'm using one of those microfiber cloths from Amazon. I talk about these in almost every video. They are fantastic. Like literally this had so many stains and I just scrubbed it away with these polishing cloths. I just think they do such a great job to finish off a space. All right, now we're going to go through the cleaning supplies here. So a lot of this stuff is stuff that I don't use on the regular basis, but it's stuff that I want to have, so I can use later. So that big green bottle there is like window cleaner. I've got like Easy Off and Lysol, that kind of stuff I just don't use all the time. And I'm putting it into this bin, this clear bin, which is from TJ Maxx. And again, it just kind of keeps everything all together, you know what I mean, and easy to grab if I need it, and contained, so that way if there's a spill or anything in the closet, hopefully it will all stay in there, for the most part. Now I'm going to add in some other bigger cleaning items like some carpet cleaner. And then on the other side here, again, this is another clear bin from TJ Maxx. And I'm adding in more carpet cleaner. That's our carpet refresher there. And then in this one, I'm just going to put in products I use very regularly. So Rid-X, I've got my Fresh Pet carpet refresher, the Method cleaner, as well as some Lysol. We also have some Febreze. This is great for freshening up your furniture, especially right before you have guests come over. I've got the iron out there. That's what I use in my toilet along with the Clorox cleaner. It gets all of the rust stains out of my toilet from my hard water. That stuff is phenomenal. I use it in my shower. It's such a game changer. Now I'm just going to add in some of my Mrs. Meyer's Snowdrop Scent Cleaner. These are my absolute favorite. I bought them up when I saw them and just have them kind of in wait, lying in wait. And also a cleaning head there for my electric scrub brush that I use in the bathroom. And that is just going to get all that nice and contained as well. And then again, I'm going to use another turntable. I'm putting this all back together pretty much the way I had it. Everybody uses it, knows where it goes. This turntable are the items that I use the most. So my stainless steel cleaner, you know, my leaf shine, my stovetop cleaner, my glass cleaner, and then my all-purpose spray is in the clear bottle that we're going to fill now. So you don't have to do this. This is totally aesthetic. This is not, you know, something that's necessary, but I like having my cleaner in this clear bottle. It's actually from Target. I got it in the dollar section 100 years ago, but I see them all the time at Walmart in their section where you can find all of the laundry items. So like irons and ironing boards and that kind of stuff, you can find these bottles. They're really affordable. I think they're like less than $5. And I just think the look is nice. I love the pump on it. It just sprays really well. And I always know what it is. And my kids all know what it is. So that's a perfect little turntable there of all of the items I use the most. And they're really easy to grab. Next up, we're going to grab this white basket here again from Walmart, and this is where I hold all of the nozzles for my vacuums. And I don't change them a ton, but I do regularly, so just having them here where they're easy to grab is perfect. And I put them in the front because it's just easier to grab them than trying to move everything from the turntable. And that brings us to our last shelf here, and that is this hot mess of a shelf where our printer is. This is kind of like a catch-all right now, like everything that we don't have a home for just kind of goes here. So I'm not going to be taking the printer out today just because I don't need to wipe this down or remove that. Like it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay right where it is. So I'm just moving everything out of there. It's a good shot of my roots that I just got done today, thank goodness. But I'm just pulling everything else out, and again, I'm going to try to contain the mess. So I'm going to move the printer over just a little bit, and I'm going to try to find a way to contain all of that paper mess and you know, anything else that was in here that doesn't need to be in here, like that green tote that was in here before. I have another one of those water hyacinth baskets from Target, and I'm going to put all of our manuals in here. These are the manuals for our washing machines and our robot vacuum, all that stuff. There's more of our manuals and information that we need. You don't have to keep these. I like to keep them because, you know, you never know if you're going to need them. So just putting them in this basket kind of puts them away, and I don't have to see them or think about them. And, you know, they're not going to be like a dirty mess. And then I decided to put our printer paper on top of it as well because I still felt like I didn't want to see all of that. So I'm putting these in the water hyacinth basket as well. I can just pull it out and grab them if I need it. I did restock the printer. I like to use 32-pound paper. This is totally unnecessary. I just really enjoy the feel of this paper. So if I'm just printing out coloring sheets, I'll put in, you know, a cheap piece of paper. But if I'm printing out anything else for me, like a recipe or, you know, a document that I need, I love to use 32-pound paper. So that's what I've got in there. And then finally, here in this top section, which does go up higher, but they put the shelf so high that it's really awkward. So I decided to just put some extra paper towels up here. I usually keep them in a bag on the floor, but this seemed like an appropriate place to put them. So I stuck a few rolls up there, and I felt like that was a perfect spot. Here is a look at the final closet. It is so good to have this like clean and organized again. Oh my goodness, it was making me crazy. I am in this closet multiple times a day. I keep all of my cleaning products in here. I don't grab them from under the sink or anything. So having this back and organized has just been such a dream. This needed to be done so badly, and I was avoiding it so hard. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you got some motivation to organize a space in your home that you've been ignoring. And I would love to have you subscribe and come back for more. I post new videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll try to have everything linked for you down below that I can. If there's something missing that you're looking for, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, my friends, I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you very soon. Take care.